Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm comparing the two hottest DPS characters in the game, Neverness to Everness, Nanally and Lacrimosa. This is honestly one of the most interesting debates happening in the NTE community right now, especially since version 1.1 dropped and gave us our first real look at how these two completely different DPS philosophies stack up against each other. Today I'm going to break down everything you need to know about both characters, from their base stats and skill mechanics, all the way to builds, team compositions, and the ultimate question of who you should actually pull if you can only choose one. Let me start by establishing the baseline for both characters so we have a clear foundation before diving into the comparisons. Nanally is an S-Rank Anima Element character with a Plasma arc, and she was the very first limited banner character in NTE, launching back in version 1.0 at the end of April 2026. Lacrimosa is an S-Rank Chaos Element character with a Liquid arc, and she arrived in version 1.1 at the beginning of June 2026. Both are top-tier DPS characters, but they are designed around completely opposite combat philosophies, and understanding that difference is the key to everything else in this video. Starting with the base stats, Nanally has a very good set of stats, with both high attack power and high survivability thanks to her very high HP compared to typical DPS. Her DF is also quite high, which is really significant because Nanally operates as a melee warrior, and in battle she needs to attack constantly, so she can be hit if you don't dodge in time or lose concentration, making it extremely important. For Lacrimosa, her damage stats are quite good, but her survivability isn't as good. As a damage over time specialist, you can dodge opponents' skills and attacks to survive longer and deal more damage. A particularly interesting aspect of Lacrimosa's skill set design is her Nightmare passive, which applies a fixed 50% critical hit chance to all dot damage. This somewhat compensates for any stat differences through mechanics rather than raw numbers. Now let's get into the skills, because this is where the real story is. Nanally's combat identity is built around two core pillars, the Ichidaime's Authority State and the Underboss Companion. Her basic attack chain, called Colucci Secret Skill, is a 5-hit melee combo that deals anima damage, and one of the most practically important things about it is that dodging does not interrupt the combo chain. This means she maintains continuous offensive pressure even while performing defensive maneuvers, which is a level of flow that makes her feel very natural to play once you get the rhythm down. Her skill, Colucci Howling Technique, activates the Authority State, which lasts for 12 seconds and amplifies her damage output significantly, including boosting her crit DMG by 30%. Her ultimate, Colucci Ultimate Technique, delivers 7 hits of anima AoE damage and summons the Underboss Companion. While Underboss is active, every single attack Nanally lands triggers an additional joint strike from Underboss, essentially doubling her hit count on every action. This is the core engine of Nanally's damage output, and it makes her effective even in the moments where you're rotating away from her as the main field character. Her passive Fair Duel is also worth understanding deeply. While Nanally is in the Authority State, any Esper cycle triggered by teammates creates an additional 60% ATK anima hit on an enemy target once every 2 seconds. This means Nanally's damage doesn't stop even when you're playing other characters, as long as your team is generating Esper cycle procs. Her other passive, More Than Passionate, upgrades Blossom Buds to fire 10 projectiles per second toward enemies whenever a blossom blooms. When you put both passives together in a properly built Blossom team, Nanally generates an almost constant stream of damage from multiple sources simultaneously. And outside of combat, her wall running ability from the Redirect skill is one of the best exploration utilities in the game, letting her traverse vertical surfaces that other characters simply cannot reach. Unlike Nanally's burst-heavy style, Lacrimosa's design philosophy is all about maintaining sustained pressure through continuous chaos dot. By using the aim button to fluidly switch between close and mid-range modes, every single hit she lands applies a stack of the Nightmare status effect. This stacks up to 10 times, dealing ongoing chaos dot with a fixed 50% crit rate. Once you hit the maximum 10 stacks, subsequent attacks trigger a bonus explosion, like ensuring her damage is constantly ticking in the background as long as you keep up the pressure. Her active kit and passives bring a great balance of burst and team synergy. Morning Tomato fires a projectile that rapidly builds nightmare stacks while dealing solid chaos damage, while Working Day Judgment serves as her primary large-scale AoE burst. But the real highlight is her Tomato Banquet passive. When a Discord reaction triggers on an already broken target, Lacrimosa automatically unleashes a massive follow-up hit worth about 400% of her ATK. This single passive transforms her from a standard DOD DPS into a powerful damage amplifier for setups that can reliably trigger break and Discord conditions. For longer fights, her Sleep-In passive reduces skill cooldowns in specific states, keeping her rotation smooth and fluid. To wrap it all up, Lacrimosa brings some incredible utility both in and out of combat. Holding the aim button lets her copy an enemy's skill, turning her microwave support skill into that learned ability for unmatched tactical flexibility. And when it comes to exploring the world, she has a unique traversal mechanic. Holding down the right-click button during a dodge transforms her into a bat, letting her take flight and glide across the map effortlessly. To compare them directly, Nanally completely dominates in burst damage, AoE, mob clearing, and exploration mobility, thanks to her wall-running mechanic. Her ultimate and authority state, especially within a Blossom team, allow her to hit an incredibly high damage ceiling in short windows. On the flip side, Lacrimosa is the queen of sustained DPS and excels in single-target boss fights. Because her chaos dot keeps ticking in the background, her damage floor doesn't drop significantly between windows the way Nanaly's does. However, Lacrimosa demands more skill to optimize her nightmare stacks and time her Tomato Banquet passive, whereas Nanaly's rotation is much more straightforward and beginner-friendly. This clear distinction is also reflected in their tier placements and builds. Tier list and team comps. The community currently rates Nanally at T0 due to her broad applicability, thriving best alongside Juyuan, Zero, and Hotori in Blossom setups. Lacrimosa sits at a still outstanding T0.5, reaching her absolute ceiling in a Discord team with Daffodil, Sakiri, and Fadia. Gear and cartridges. Nanaly's best-in-slot weapon is Ready, with Aurora as an F2P alternative, paired with the Fireflies and the Forest cartridge set. Lacrimosa reaches her peak with her signature weapon, the Last Rose, or Shiny Days as an alternative, perfectly matching the Diablo's cartridge set to maximize her ongoing Chaos DMG. So who should you pull? If you want a versatile, highly mobile powerhouse who thrives as a Blossom centerpiece, with moderate investment, Nanally is the safer choice. But if you prefer a mechanically deep playstyle and want a dedicated boss killer for a Discord setup, go for Lacrimosa. However, with Chaos and Shinku arriving in the near future, nothing is set in stone just yet. At the end of the day, these gacha games will always introduce better characters later down the line, so just pull for whoever you love playing the most. Personally, I'm planning to pull for everyone just to complete the roster. This video has run pretty long already, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much, guys.
Trust me. Let's finish this.